Yasmin, thank you. Forging a new deal with teachers, curbing Hawaii's soaring childhood obesity rate, and creating new jobs. Those are just some of the goals laid out by Governor Neil Abercrombie in his second State of the State address. The speech seemed to resound with a predominantly Democratic state legislature, but there are still some unanswered questions about exactly how those goals are going to happen. And joining us this morning now is the governor himself. Good morning, Governor.
Good morning. Aloha.
Thanks for joining us this morning. Some interesting comments coming out from the Hawaii State Teachers Association, Will Okabe, who's the head.
Yeah.
And he actually says that he takes some of the blame for the teachers saying no to the new contract. What do you make of that? He said he was too anxious to find a settlement.
Well, if there's a communication problem there, only they can solve that.
What do you make of this distrust that the teachers have? I mean, some of them have said that, you know, they don't want to sign anything when they don't know the exact benchmarks that will be laid out in the future.
That opportunity's been there for years. There were model proposals made as far back as the mid-1990s. Everyone gets evaluated. You get evaluated. The viewers right now are evaluating this show. So that's not the issue. You have to be evaluated by law. I get evaluated, obviously, when you have an election. So that's not the question. The question is the support going to be there for the teachers, for the staff at the schools in order for our kids to advance? So I think that in this particular instance, you don't want to put into the law itself that kind of system because different schools have different needs. Say a school with a large percentage of children with English as a second language, for example, have a much different orientation and support needs than a school in which virtually every child already has a laptop or is already computer literate. So we take all those things into account, and the contract just provides the foundation to see that all that takes place. So I'm confident that we can put together something that will give confidence to the taxpayers and the parents that the children are going to be prepared for the 21st century. We have to do that. This is not a question of whether somebody wants to do it. This is a question of how soon we're going to implement it across the board to see to it that the children can advance.
Let's talk about the Pro Bowl. It's coming up this weekend, and in the past you have criticized the money that goes toward hosting the Pro Bowl. And, you know, as you know, we don't know if the Pro Bowl is going to be here next year because of negotiations between HTA and the NFL. What do you think about
Well, I don't think it's negotiations between the HTA and the NFL. Of course we'd like to have the Pro Bowl here. But this is a question for the owners. It's the NFL. They want to have it in wherever the Super Bowl city is because it's easier for them, cheaper for them to have their all their equipment and everything right in the same city. You have to ship everything out to Hawaii. But
do you still think that the money, the millions of dollars going toward hosting the Pro Bowl is so-called so stupid as you had mentioned in the past?
Well, don't forget that was made in the context of, well, which would you rather fund? Entertainment or early childhood education? I mean, that's what I said yesterday. If we don't have children as our priority, we don't know the meaning of the word. So it's not. That was a comparison that was made. That has nothing to do with whether the Pro Bowl is here any more than it does with the Sony Open. The Sony Open is a terrific operation. We love to have the Pro Bowl here, but I don't think anybody wants to be in a situation where. In effect, you're putting a gun to somebody's head and saying, you know, unless you pay me some fee, we're going someplace else, when that's what they really want to do in the first place. The players love it, their families love it, the fans love it. The question really for the NFL is to decide whether they want to accommodate the fans, accommodate the players, after all, this is supposed to be their game, or whether they want to take a strictly economic point of view and in effect, wherever the Super Bowl city is, say, well, we're going to give you 2 for 1. We can just have the Super Bowl, and then a week later, everything's in place already, and we have it wherever that is. It's difficult for me to think that the players' families, for example, let alone people freezing on the mainland, don't like the idea of being in Hawaii. So we're going to try to accommodate them. I hope that they'll put the fans first. I hope they'll put the players first, and we'll continue to have a good relationship.
And Governor, I wanted to get to some of our viewer emailed questions because some of them are pretty interesting. I wanted to read this one. It's from JC, and he says, when are you going to restore the pay of state employees who've been carrying the state shortfall for the last 2.5 years?
Well, if you take a look at this contract for the teachers, that may be a template for what's to come. We are hopeful that we can restore that when this contract is over.
Ryan from Hawaii Open Data Initiative said that with the emphasis on technology and education yesterday, what's your comfort level and support for open data policies, meaning a government holds some of the largest stores and information that's technically public? Will you push to put state data online so that people can use it and build apps around it?
Sure. Well, we have to be able to collect the data in the first place. We have a chief information officer now for the first time. And I've made a proposal to the legislature that we make a capital investment, not just an operating cost investment, but a capital investment in the most modern capacity for technology transfer of every kind, hardware and software. But that's going to take tens of millions of dollars in order to do that, because we're so far behind, because our technology capability is so primitive now in the state. But we're assembling exactly what it will take in order to accomplish that. And I'm hopeful that the legislature will give us a start this year, and then when we come into the new legislative session and the new biennium next year after the election, we'll have a full across-the-board proposal for that. The questioner couldn't be more right. We need to do that, but not just for the public as such. We need to do it internally across the state so the public can have the best possible information.
Well, Governor Abercrombie, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Well, I'm pleased, and I hope we'll have a time sometime in the future to talk about the Descendants. I understand they did very well.
You saw
today.
it, right?
Oh, yes.
Did you cry?
No, I was happy. As a matter of fact, I know.
I heard it was a tearjerker.
No, I saw Alex, and we know Alexander Payne. We knew he was going to try and do the Descendants, but we had no idea that he was going to be not only amenable to, but sharp enough to understand that Hawaiian music, particularly slack key masters, would provide just exactly the right atmospheric background for the movie.
Well,
and so I was happy that night when we saw it.
Well, certainly getting a lot of recognition nationally and internationally.
Yeah,
Governor Abercrombie, thank you.
Thank you.
And don't forget, if you'd like to watch this interview again with the governor, you can head over to the morning section of our website, kitv.com. It is 6:48.